Hey out there, all you film fans.
Boosh.
This is a bit of an emergency podcast, if you will.
It's a special episode.
It is a special episode.
With no number.
No number. We're not going to number it. We're just going to title it.
Yeah.
Just be like Wonder Woman and stuff and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you didn't guess from the intro music or our overzealous intro talk, this is going to be our Wonder Woman review.
Yeah.
Will we talk about the film, talk about our thoughts and feelings in the film, the future of the DCEU or whatever like that? We'll just talk about general feelings and then maybe do a little spoilers at the end.
We could do a little spoilers at the end.
But we'll put like a little spoiler warning because there are millennials out there who will get upset if we
Yeah.
don't do spoiler warnings.
Pissy.
Yes.
Should we do a disclaimer at this to start with, or?
Disclaimer. Oh, we didn't do the disclaimer.
Oh no.
You may be offended by some of the things that the hosts of 365 Flicks say, but they are our view, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not down with that,
You can suck it. I knew where you were going with that. So if you do listen to Hobie, which, I mean, if you're putting disclaimers at the start of your podcast, why would you listen to that? I mean, we love the guys. We're just joshing them. But seriously,
you don't want to be doing that.
dudes, there's a little E on the feed that people will know. That E means, it doesn't stand for enjoyment, it stands for explicit.
Doesn't stand for enjoyment.
Well, to me it stands for enjoyment, because if it doesn't have the E, I'm not listening to it. No. I'm not listening to a podcast that I'm not constantly thinking, are they going to drop a C-bomb? I'm not listening to that.
Even if it's not a Queen C-bomb.
If it's, yeah, go on then.
What, now?
Even that. No, don't do it. Don't do it, no. This is the Wonder Woman review. This is the Wonder Woman We went to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we did. That's
We did.
Taking us about 3 fucking minutes to review.
I got back off holiday on Friday, and we decided that I've been with my wife and kids for a full 7 days. I need some guy time. Let's go watch Wonder Woman.
Sorry, I spat you.
So we went on Saturday night to see Wonder Woman, and oh my god,
It was good.
it was the nuts.
It was very, very good.
So as you can tell, we enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a DC fan. I'm a DCEU fan. I make no bones of that. I take a lot of shit for that. This movie, you don't have to be a staunch DCEU fan. This movie is for everybody. This movie's great.
It is great. And, you know, I think a lot of people won't see the movie because, you know, it's a female character. But
Yeah.
to those people, I would say just shut the fuck up and go and watch it.
Yeah, shut up. Go watch it because, I'm going to make a bit of a bold statement in a little bit when we come to how we thought about this movie. I am going to make a bit of a bold statement, but I'm going to fully stand by it. And no, Tony, I'm not going to say that this is better than BVS, so, you know, put your tweets away. But yeah, man, this film just absolutely did what it needed to do, and my hat is off to Patty Jenkins, the director of the movie.
Yep.
Although I am a little bit sick of how much we're putting an emphasis on the fact that she's a female director. We know she's a female director. We know she's made a great movie. We know they don't necessarily get they don't get the credit they deserve. And so she should get the credit, but they're kind of making all of the press about that.
Right.
How this is a female-driven movie, which is fantastic. We're on board with that. This is a female director, which is fantastic. We're on board with that. But do you have to make everything about that?
Well, no. I can kind of see, you know, it's the first...
Yeah.
It's the first superhero movie that's, you know, is a female superhero. So I can understand that being...
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is a big
And
deal.
it's the first superhero movie that's been directed by a woman as well. So that's, you know...
Yeah. Justly so, rightly so. She's done a great fucking job.
She has.
So, I mean, my hat does go off to Patty for this. And, I mean, let's just give, before we really get into it, a little bit of figures. This movie in its opening weekend, because it came out today, was it, or last night? It has made 101.5 million domestic.
Wow.
So,
is that in the UK or
No,
US?
that's domestic in America, because obviously to the Americans, domestic, there is only America, so that's how that works. But it's made 101.5 million over there in I think it's like a 3-day weekend, but obviously you get the Thursday previews, but that only accounts for like 38 million, which on a Thursday is pretty fucking good anyway. Over here, though, it has also made like another 115 million over here in its first 4 days, which is just great. It's fantastic. You know, it's what they wanted. It's pretty much made, you know, a good chunk of what BVS made overall in its first fucking weekend. So, and the critics are loving it. We're not gonna name the website.
We don't mention those.
They
those
are
guys on that website.
They are a bunch of hacks. But we're not going to mention them. But it's doing well on there as well. So you know, whatever. It's tying for The Dark Knight and Iron Man 1. It's
I read that earlier on.
Sitting equal with them, which is great again. This film just seems to be. It's come out with a bang, and I really hope it just stays the course for a good couple of weeks.
I'm sure it will. Because
we need it to.
You know, I've not heard anyone say anything bad about the movie.
No.
And so you would hope that, you know, people like us doing reviews,
yes,
after having gone and see it on opening weekend, would encourage people who weren't too sure,
which is why we need to get it.
I mean, I've said to I asked Paul Trotter to go and see it, but he wasn't too sure, and a couple of others as well.
I think it's one of those things as well that it is a comic book movie, so your general comic book, your general movie going audience probably wouldn't go and see it. This is a comic book movie, but it's got a lot of. I don't want to say it doesn't feel like a comic movie because it does, but it's very different in theme for me.
I think it's because it's when it's based as well.
Yes, obviously the setting's fantastic. It's just it lends itself to so many different things, but
you know, I mean, when people have been asking what it was like, because I do think there is that thing of like, you know, it's a female superhero, so maybe there's a bit of stigma about blokes going to see a female superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I told friend of the show Paul Byrne about it, he kind of did a little smirk at me.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know, don't want to be harsh, but fuck him, because he went to see Pirates of the Caribbean on the same night. And why would you do that? Why would you do that? You got Baywatch?
Actually, I did get a good review from him yesterday of Pirates. What's it called? Something.
Johnny Depp's back. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Bleh.
So I asked him, so what's your review of Pirates? And his review was all right.
That's a glowing review from Paul Byrne. That is actually no, listeners. Seriously, that's a glowing review. Yeah. That is, because getting him to the cinema alone.
Well, yeah.
Is a task.
I think the only movie that's gone above it's all right was like Tropic Thunder,
which was
or Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, because he likes the limp dick line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we Wonder Woman, man.
Let's go back to Wonder Woman.
Let's get into this. We're not gonna go through the plot or anything, but Wonder Woman basically it starts with it's an origin tale. You get a little sort of where the DCEU is right now, and I love the way that they set it up with the picture. Bruce Wayne sending the picture, because you were kind of thinking, how are they gonna do this? Is it gonna be a straight up origin, or is there gonna be like a little leading into it? And he sent her the original to the picture, which we saw in BVS. Nice little tying in that way.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Loved that, and then we kind of just get straight into the story, which is her and Themyscira, and Themyscira looks fucking great.
I kind of want to go there.
Yeah. Amazonian goddess is walking around. No, man, you've got your pick.
Me, though, like
they would. We get Gal Gadot, as we all know. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, and it's fantastic. You get like the early stages of her. Get a nice little story about how the Amazonians sort of came about, and the fall from grace in the god's eyes.
Yeah, that was a well done little segment.
It was.
You know, it reminded me of like Man of Steel, where they told us about what the Kryptonians had done on other planets and all that kind of thing. That was really well done as well. I thought, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
Not the only thing that I'm gonna say kind of reminded me of Man of Steel or BVS, because there's a few things in here. Because let's not get it twisted. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, this movie's doing so well and this movie's so great because Zack Snyder didn't have a great deal to do with it. For me, personally, and you might not agree. You probably won't agree, and I know a lot of people out there won't agree because they hate the man supposedly. But I felt a heavy Zack Snyder influence on this movie.
Well, we spoke about in the car on the way back up. We spoke about the little sort of cheeky 300 Easter egg in the flashback, but that's not a spoiler.
No.
There's just a moment where they have sort of oldie worldy
Gerard Butler gets kicked off the cliff.
Gerard Butler guys being pushed off the cliff, like in the 300. But there was also a lot of Zack Snyder style fight scenes and slow motion and that kind of thing. It was cool. It looked cool.
It didn't. The one thing that I thought was great about the movie was as much as I'm sitting there thinking this feels like a Zack Snyder movie directed by someone else, which I got that feeling. I'm not saying Patty Jenkins was just told do this, because I don't think that at all. I think she's made the movie she wanted to make. But it's like the only way that it didn't feel like a Zack Snyder movie was it didn't go batshit crazy towards the end, because we know that he likes to destroy everything.
Yeah.
And it's something I love. I love the visuals that he comes up with. I think seeing things being destroyed is fantastic. She didn't really go down that road.
Well, you're already in World War One. So.
Well, exactly. Things are getting destroyed.
Yeah.
But the movie, we find out the Amazonians, and we get a little backstory on Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman, which by the way she's never called once in the movie.
Is she not?
Which is fantastic.
I didn't notice that.
Did you not notice that?
I never
Nobody
noticed that.
once calls her Wonder Woman because it's an origin tale. Why would you? I suppose, like, although Superman gets called Superman within the first 20 minutes, but as soon as he comes to Earth, oh, you're a Superman.
He doesn't in Man of Steel, though.
Not really, no. And
he does at the end, because...
Yeah, because you get the bit when she's about to say it, and then the alarm goes off. They don't really call Batman.
The Bat of Gotham.
The Bat of Gotham, the Gotham Bat, So yeah, it's a trait.
Yeah,
it's a trait, and I like it. But I did notice that nobody ever calls her Wonder Woman. And we meet the Amazonians. We meet Frank Underwood's wife is playing Hippolyta. She was great.
She was great. She was very, very good.
We get a fantastic, and this sort of cemented where the movie was going for me action wise, because we'd had some nice little story building. We had some nice little but that bit on the beach where. Is it a spoiler? It's like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Well, you see it happening in the trailer, so it moves pretty quickly along. It's pretty fast paced that section, because you want to.
You've got to get
into the story basically. So yeah, the story starts off. Gal Gadot is kind of growing up, and she is what's she called? Diana Prince.
Diana
Chris
Pine. Chris Pine calls her Prince.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Chris Pine is running away from a bunch of Germans, and
Goddamn Germans.
I know, bastards to a man. So he kind of goes inside the
Themyscira.
Sphere of that Themyscira. Is that what it's called? Mm. Yeah, I can never remember that. So he crashes. His plane crashes. The Germans come after him, and there's a sort of action scene on the
which is fantastic
on the beach, and it is fantastic.
She directs action really fucking well.
Yeah.
To be fair. And I'm not saying that a woman can't direct action. That's not what I'm trying to say. But this movie, I was kind of thinking to myself, if there's anywhere this movie may fail, and again, I'm not trying to be sexist, please don't fucking have a go at me, but I thought if there's anywhere this movie may fail, it's going to be the action sequences. It's not going to be what I'm hoping for, sort of thing. But fuck me, she pulled it off.
She very much pulled it off.
And I mean, there's one scene that we'll talk about in a little bit that, for me, we'll talk about it now. The No Man's Land scene.
Yeah.
Any movie that comes now, any comic book movie, your Marvel movies, your DC movies.
You know what, I would say not even comic book movies.
Just any movie.
I would say any movie. I was describing it this afternoon to my business partner Gary at that scene, and I've said this to Paul and a couple of others. That scene, that whole sort of segment, maybe 20-30 minutes
20-30 minutes, you've got the No Man's Land, and you've got the village.
One of the best action sequences I've ever seen in a movie.
That's the bar. That is the new, for me, that's the new bar. Like,
And
if you cannot attain that level now, I'm not bothered.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
And I was saying to Gary this afternoon that I was describing how it works and all that.
Yeah.
So basically, Wonder Woman, without giving too many spoilers away, she wants to save some villagers who are in a village, funnily enough, that has been run over by or taken over by the Germans, and they're kind of shooting everyone and that kind of thing. Dirty buggers. So Wonder Woman says to Chris Pine's character, "Aren't you going to save them?"
Yeah.
And he says, "No, we've been stuck here for years now. It doesn't move," which is that was the case in World War One,
which is probably why the scene resonates
and
as well.
so she kind of goes, "Fuck that," and goes up onto no man's land, and it is phenomenal.
It's just that whole scene is fucking great, and yeah, like I say, for me that's the new bar. There's one particular point in that scene. I'm not going to talk about it too much. If you cannot have a section in your movie as iconic as this moment, sort of like Civil War when Iron Man and they're doing the thing together. If you cannot emulate this in your action movie, just don't bother.
Yeah.
Just stay away from the scene. Go somewhere else. I don't know.
That moment that's going to be shown for years.
That's like I say, it's the benchmark.
Yeah.
It's the bar. Yeah. It's the bar. So that is basically, actually, in a nutshell, the story.
Well, yeah, without going into spoilers and what have you, that is the story. So, Wonder Woman is looking for Ares, who is the god of war. She's convinced that Ares is convincing or has brainwashed men into the First World War, basically. And she's convinced that if she goes and takes him down, that the killing will stop. And that is the story.
Funnily enough, wrong war. Second World War, mate. But yeah, that is the story. She wants to find him, she wants to kill him, and she's got a sword that goes down between her butt cheeks at one point.
Ouch.
Which is I'm alright with that. it's a video I don't want to watch, but
especially when she takes it out.
So let's talk about some cast.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot, first off, we may as well start with her. What do you think?
Absolutely superb.
Yeah.
She absolutely nailed it.
There are, and I've seen other people saying this, but it is in the movie. It does happen. There's a few lines that she kind of gets tongue tied with and loses the accent. But to be perfectly fine, I'm gonna let her off because she's sexy as shit. She's a complete badass. And from day one, when Snyder casted her for BVS, and you got your first couple of screenshots of her in the uniform, from day one, I was in. I was 100% in. You and I, we had an episode way back in the day where we casted our Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You had Christina Hendricks.
Yeah.
I had Donna from Suits.
Yeah.
How's Donna going to pull that role off? I mean, yeah, she's sexy, but come on. She doesn't do much in Suits. But we had our picks. Neither of them got the role. Funnily enough, neither of our picks got the Spider-Man role. But so, yeah, she's great. I love her in this. The fish out of water thing.
There was a lot of... With fish out of water stuff, you can sometimes take it too far and it doesn't work.
Yes.
But I think that they got the balance perfectly well with that. There's a moment where Chris Pine and her are in the boat going to sort of the world of men kind of thing, and that's funny as hell.
She does it great.
She does great. She does great. And there were people sat next to you who were fully lolling.
Yeah, they were fully lolling. Yeah. No, let's not talk about that right now. Let's not talk about that right now. They were just floppy head millennials, so okay. They were fully lolling though. But yeah, she's great in that role, the badassery role. When she starts kicking ass, she's fantastic. She suits that role. Everybody who said that she was too skinny, you can fuck off. Everybody who said she can't carry a movie, you can fuck off.
She very, very much carries that movie.
She carries the...
Chris Pine's there as well. Chris Pine puts in a good performance as well.
Did you see the article on Digital Spy?
I saw the headline. I didn't read it because fuck that article.
I read it, and it's, we both read Digital Spy. We both quite like Digital Spy. This is an article that should have been on Movie Pilot. It was trash.
There was an article this afternoon on there, a little tangent here. There was an article in there this afternoon on Digital Spy of the worst ever series finales.
Right.
And so they had, your Dexter
Yep.
and all that kind of thing. They put Mad Men in there and they put The Sopranos in there.
Nah,
Fuck
Sopranos,
you.
not Sopranos.
Fuck
no.
you. And not Mad Men either.
No.
Bastards. Anyway, back
But
to
yeah.
Wonder Woman.
So she's fantastic. We can't really say enough about her. I just want to see more of her going forward. If she's the linchpin of the Justice League, I'm perfectly fine with that right now because she's bloody good. She's bloody good. So let's just move on to Chris Pine.
Yeah. Well, Chris Pine is Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, the damsel in distress.
Yeah, I mean, he has a good role in the movie. The character's solid. There's, it's pretty well, pretty three-dimensional character.
Yep.
So he's a spy who was undercover with the Germans, and so he's got evidence of that, like a sort of super weapon that's going to end the war in the Germans' favour. So he steals the evidence, and that he's basically trying to get that. That's his mission in the movie. He puts in a great performance, as he always does. It's Chris Pine.
He always does put in a good performance. He plays these roles well, and I love the whole he has his mission. He's so dead set against it, and she ain't having none of it.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what? If that's all you're gonna do, you might as well go home. And
that's the good thing about Wonder Woman is, and the movie in general is, it's sort of the world of, it's 1918.
Yeah.
It's the men are in charge of the world, and she goes in there like a badass. She's telling the British generals like, how dare you ignore this? You can end the war. How fucking dare you ignore this?
So as King Ross would say, she goes in and says,
Exactly, yeah.
But I mean, they have great chemistry as well in this movie. Like, I thought they both nailed their roles. They both did exactly what they needed to do. The Amazonians, you had Connie Nielsen in there, who was fantastic. I haven't seen Connie Nielsen in anything for a long time, and she was great.
She was great. Yeah, of course she was.
Kind of couldn't decide how she was going to pronounce Hippolyta or Hippolyta. She did pronounce it 3 different ways in the same scene, which kind of made me go, come on. You had Frank Underwood's wife.
Yep.
As the Queen or the Diana's mum. She was great. I would quite like to see a bit more of her going forward.
Well, there's no reason why not.
There is no reason why not.
Yeah. Robin Wright is great.
She's fantastic. Have you seen that she's possibly leaving House of Cards?
Really? I'm 4 episodes into season 5, so
she's possibly leaving because of the pay gap.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is a shame, because I would have thought those two would be on level pegging for that show.
You would have thought so.
Because they're both fantastic. But anyway, tangent, sidebar. The rest of the team who go over to the front, to take out the bad guy, you have Spud from Trainspotting.
Yeah.
Playing Spud from Trainspotting.
Pretty much, yeah. He's fine.
But let's be honest, he plays every role the same, and he plays them all great. So I'm okay. Ewan Bremner, you're okay by me.
He does it. He does a good job. He's a bit sort of war-torn, war damaged. He plays it well. No complaints.
You had Sammy. I am not going to try and pronounce his name. Every time I try and pronounce it, I know his first name's Saeed, but his last name looks like Tamagotchi, and I know that's not how you pronounce it, so I'm not going to say it. You had the big chief guy. I did actually look at his name today, and I can't for the life of him remember what it was. But the thing about this little team is that movies like this, unless you are a superhero team-up movie, you don't really get a well-rounded group of people. Usually you've got the main guy, you've got the next guy down, and the cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They all have their moments in this movie.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They all have fantastic... I thought everybody, like you say, the war-torn part of Ewan Bremner, he's doing like the singing and all that. He's struggling with the rifle kind of thing. They've all got a nice little story to them, which you don't always get. So
No,
I was happy with that. She really put a lot of effort into this movie. Patty Jenkins, I'm talking about. She's put a lot of fucking effort into this movie, and it shows.
Definitely.
It does show. So you got your bad guys. You've got the lead is Danny Houston from, I want to say, X-Men Oranges.
But he's been in a lot of things.
He's been in a hell of a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's been in a shit ton of things. He plays the role fantastically.
Yeah, he does. He's perfectly fine.
He is great. And I suppose that's all you can say about the cast.
Well, you also have to mention, I haven't got a clue what her name is, but sort of the female big bad.
Yes, Dr. Poison.
Dr. Poison, yeah. She's great as well.
She is great.
Pretty sinister.
And how could we forget? How could we actually forget our favourite Brit, Lucy Davis?
Yeah.
Even though I had no fucking idea.
No, you did, yeah.
I'm sitting there in the car and I'm like, who was that? Who was that? And it's like, Lucy Davis. What? Which is Dawn from The Office. Mm-hmm. We love The Office, big Office fans. Great to see her in a DC, fucking big budget movie. Fantastic.
You've got Dave Coaches in there.
Dave Coaches playing a little role. Yeah. Dave Coaches, man. All you wanted though was like, alright, Ness. You wanted that.
How's it going, alright?
That was a terrible accent.
Yeah, that's fine. But you also got, again, I don't know what his fucking name is, but the guy who played Professor Lupin and Harry Potter.
David Thewlis? Thewlis?
I don't know.
Something like that.
He's great as well.
He was great as well. You get you do get a rough, because it's been filmed in England, because it's sort of set in the war and part of it has to be set in London. You do get your general British guys who are in these types of movies.
Yeah.
We need to cast some Brits. We've seen him in Harry Potter. We've seen him in something else. We've seen him. So we're going to cast them.
So token British guy.
Yeah, British guy. Let's just say it's token.
Well, Dave Coaches has been in a few things now.
Well, he was in Harry Potter as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Aye, but I mean, it's great to see them all. It's great to see them all doing a big Warner Brothers DC movie, and I was happy with it. So yeah, there's not much else you can say about the movie. It's just fucking great.
It is fucking great, and I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah. So before we move into a little bit of spoiler territory, which we will do after the spoiler warning, I'll make one up. I'll just or whatever. Before we go into that though, how are you feeling about the DCEU now? Because there was a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but there's a lot of animosity towards it before this movie's come out. Seems to be a lot of people who are now saying, you know what, we may be moving in the right direction now. How are you feeling?
I never had an issue with, other than Suicide Squad, because fuck that movie. But I never had an issue with the DCEU.
No?
No.
I know you didn't, and I don't know why I sounded surprised there, because I myself don't have an issue with it. Like, I'm very, very happy with all the work Zack Snyder's put in. I'm very happy that, I mean, he's had a tragedy. He's stepped back from Justice League. And anybody who fucking turns around and says that Justice League is a good movie because of Joss Whedon, I want to punch them in the face. But he's stepped back, so we don't know if he's still going to be the Kevin Feige of the DCU. We don't know yet if he comes back. Hopefully he does. Thoughts are with him.
You just have to wait and see what happens, don't you? But yeah, I never had any issues with the DCU other than Suicide Squad.
Because fuck that movie.
Yeah, I continue to love BVS. I continue to love Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I love the hell out of Wonder Woman. I can't wait for Justice League. What more can you say?
I did literally come out of the cinema and I was like, yeah, I'm ready for Justice League now.
Yeah, no,
just give me some Justice League. just give it to me. And it didn't help that we walked out and there was a poster for Justice League on the wall.
Well, yeah.
That didn't help.
But, yeah, I mean, you know what? I obviously love the Marvel movies as well. I think,
of course you do, because that's allowed.
Despite what a lot of fucking arseholes on the internet, because it's full of them, say, you are allowed to love both.
Of course you can.
So, yeah, I have got no issues and had no issues with the DCEU, apart from Suicide Squad.
Because fuck that movie. But I know what you're saying about that, because because I am, first and foremost, I'll wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a DC fan.
Get out.
I always have been a DC fan. I've always been a Batman fan. He is my superhero.
Fair enough.
That's why my back is fucking covered in Batman fucking women and Batman and Joker. That's why my back's covered in it, because I love that comic. I love that story. But I do still like Marvel. And some people do seem to think because of my, I don't know, what do you call it? Unashamed love of DC. They do seem to think that I can't like a Marvel movie as well. They do seem to think that the Spider-Man's coming out soon. They seem to think I'm going to bash the fuck out of it.
I've got Spider-Man on my fucking
Exactly,
arm,
man.
but just because, like, same as you, just what you said just now, you know, when I was growing up, I read mainly sort of Spider-Man comics, but I also love the fuck out of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I love, you know, I grew up watching Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Ugh.
Don't you dare!
See, I don't like all DC. See, there you go.
Don't you dare! Yeah, so you know, fuck people who say you say shit like that. You can't like both. That's fucking nonsense.
So we're both looking forward to Justice League.
Yes.
Aquaman.
Yeah. Jason Momoa.
I did see James Wan, who's supposedly on off, not directing it, is directing it, not directing it, walking away because it's in a hot mess, you know. James Wan is very, very happy with Wonder Woman, and he tweeted out something about how he's glad that he now knows he's going in the right direction with Aquaman because...
Is that James Wan that did The Conjuring?
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Cool.
Yes, exactly. The Conjuring, which we both love. Yeah, he seems to think that his movie's sort of in the same vein as Wonder Woman, which is fantastic. But again, I don't want to flog a dead horse, but it's kind of Zack Snyder's world. You kind of have to live within it.
Well, you know, his name was in the credits.
His name was in the credits because the story essentially, although he didn't write the screenplay, so again, put your tweets away, he didn't write the screenplay, so a lot of it was the director and a lot of it was Patty Jenkins. And I will say that the scene you mentioned before in the boat, that for me is where you can see Patty Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what she's doing because most of the stuff she's done before now, this is her first big film, but what she's done before that is a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
TV programs like One Tree Hill on the CW, Grey's Anatomy, the doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah, my sister watches that.
The Gilmore Girls, you know, which I've seen some of all those things, and that's exactly the sort of dialogue you had in those shows that are in that movie, in those sections. So
yeah,
that's where Patty Jenkins shines through, as well as the action. Fucking well done. But
that's the good thing about the movie is, in between these, you know, awesome action scenes, the movie can slow down a little.
Yeah.
Like after the big scene that we mentioned, there's a nice sort of little segment in the town.
Very Band of Brothers-y.
Yes, very much so.
It was,
where they're,
wasn't it?
you know, there's sort of like as we mentioned, sort of Ewan Brenner's like singing for the first time in fucking years because he's been all war damaged and that. And you know, there's a lot of awesome, cool dialogue between Wonder Woman and Chris Pine's character, whose name I've completely forgotten.
Stephen Trevor. Or Trevor Stephen, one of the two. Steve Trevor.
Go with that.
Green Lantern.
Is that what it is?
It's not. No, it's not. It would be fucking great though, because I want Chris Pine to be Green Lantern.
Yeah, but yeah, it slows down, but it doesn't like drag the movie to a halt.
No,
the movie still moves along nicely. It's just you're getting some nice sort of background information or you know some idea about the character.
Yes,
the characters. So
excellently put. Well put.
Thank you very much.
I like that. I like when you put forward a good point. So and this is where I might end up saying something extremely fucking bold that I know Dev's going to get straight on the keyboard with.
Shut up, Dev.
But where are we putting this? In the DCEU, we now have 4 movies. We have Man of Steel, we have BVS, we have Suicide Squad, fuck that movie, like you say, and we have Wonder Woman. Where now are we putting this?
Suicide Squad could fuck off to the bottom because fuck that movie.
To be fair, I do have a bit of a love for Suicide Squad. There's something about that movie that I just think is great. It's just nonsense. It's pure nonsense, but I do love it. So I am putting it at the bottom of the list, but not saying fuck that movie because I do love Suicide Squad.
Fuck that movie. I will put it up there with Man of Steel. I think they're both good oranges movies.
Oranges movies.
That actually wasn't intentional. It actually came out as oranges. without beer. So I'll put it sort of level pegging with Man of Steel because I love Man of Steel and I love Wonder Woman. I still, like we're talking about the extended version here, I still think that BVS is a fucking good movie, and fuck anyone who says it isn't. You know, I'm entitled to my opinion and you can suck my balls. So I'm going to put Wonder Woman with Man of Steel sort of giant second.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I would put it, you know, it's close. It's a ball hair away from BVS for me, because like I keep alluding to, while there are a lot of people out there saying that this is the best superhero movie ever made, like
People say that all the time.
There's a lot of people saying that, and don't get me wrong, it's a fucking great movie. I wouldn't say it's the best superhero movie ever made. For me, that's still The Dark Knight, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's still, probably for you, it'd be Spider-Man 2.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. But for me...
Have we done that as a top 5?
Not yet, no. No.
We've done best Marvel movies.
Yes.
A long time ago.
We haven't
before,
done...
on like phase 2.
Well, we'll do that at some
point.
point.
I don't think we've done ever, like all time.
Put it on the whiteboard and we'll get to it. But yeah, so it's not... I wouldn't say it's the best comic book hero movie, but it is, for me personally, people might disagree, this is the best origins movie I've ever seen. I think it's brilliantly told, the action's fantastic, and at no point did I sit there and go, oh, it's another origin story. Like, it never once made me feel that way, whereas there are other movies, and I'm not just saying Marvel movies, because I do keep saying that they're copy and pasting the origins thing. And I'm not saying that, I'm saying this for any movie out there, comic book movie, fucking spy movie, whatever you want to call it, this is the best origins movie I've ever seen. Not the best comic book hero movie I've ever seen, definitely the best origins. Personally.
I'd have to have a think.
That's a personal one for me. I have been thinking about that a lot, because I know that is a fucking quite a bold thing to be saying, considering it's only been out 4 days. Personally, I can't think of a movie, an origins movie, that I've enjoyed more than this.
I'd have to have a think.
Have a think about it. We'll get back to that one. So I'm going to put a little spoiler thing in, and then we're going to come back. And after this, there will be spoilers. So please just shut the fuck up, because I got some things I want to talk about before we wrap up. And really, I'm not talking about things. I'm just fucking patting people on the back. Okay. So yeah, spoiler alert, and then we'll come back.
Bastard.
So the man's name that you couldn't pronounce.
Which one?
David Thewlis. I'm sure it's David Thewlis.
Oh yeah, Lupin.
Yeah. He ends up being the baddie.
Yeah.
And it's a big fucking twist, because you're told all the way through the movie that Danny Houston's the big bad. And then you find out at the end of the movie that David Thewlis, I can't actually remember his name in the movie. He's sort of like a British general who basically helps them go.
Yeah.
Even though they're told, don't go to the front, don't go to the war, stay fucking away, we're working on an armistice deal. And he kind of comes forward and he's like, you know what, here's some fucking dosh, get yourself out of there and fuck some shit up, you know. He ends up being the big bad of the movie. He ends up being Ares, and he's fucking immense.
Oh yeah.
This, probably since Loki, we haven't seen a bad guy.
I did actually say that to you, like
you did.
When we left the cinema, that villain is the most surprising.
Oh yes.
Probably, you know, because it's been a slow build throughout the movie of, like, you know, they've been kind of pointing towards this guy, like, you know, Wonder Woman suspects that it's this guy. So it's the most surprising. It's probably one of the best written villains that I've seen in.
Because he's helping them all the way
in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like, and like I was saying before, like, because it's been filmed in Britain and we're in the UK, you've got to have your token Brits.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think, you know, they've gone to France now. He's out of the movie.
Yeah, and he's very much, for lack of a better term, he's very much a token Brit in a big American movie that you wouldn't expect to be the big bad. Not like when they cast Tom Hiddleston as Loki, you know Tom Hiddleston's going to be somebody in the movie because it's fucking Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like having him in there was like, oh, so that's the guy who's like a main character in Harry Potter once. you know,
in
and
one movie.
yeah, and you just don't expect it. So when you get the twist that he is the big bad, like you say, it's fucking brilliant. It's written really
creepy
well.
as hell as well in that scene in the cabin.
He's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
And when he becomes Ares and he gets the armor,
Oh, that was cool.
he looks cool as balls, and he's monologuing like a motherfucker, and it's great.
But he is a fucking good actor.
Yeah, he is.
Did a special on, I think it was BBC Two,
Right.
a few years ago, of an Inspector Calls.
Okay.
You've heard of that play?
I vaguely remember something.
It's
about it,
basically it's about a woman who's committed suicide.
Mhm.
The guy goes to it's set in like the 1920s or something, or I think actually it's set probably around this before the First World War, because they're talking it's like a rich family that he goes to see, and they're all talking about, you know, that sort of things leading up to the war and that kind of thing. I think they mentioned Titanic as well.
Ew.
So it might be 1913 maybe. Anyway, and he did a monologue in that show that was kind of, although it was set back in 1912, 1913, it was very, very relevant to present, you know, fucked up shit that's happening in 2016, 2017.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that guy can act his ass off.
He can. And he shows it in this movie. And I think when people do go and see Wonder Woman, and I'm not throwing this at the Americans on purpose, most of them probably won't know who that guy is.
I'd say, you know, a majority of them will have seen him in Harry Potter, but other than that,
they've seen his face, but they're not going to really. So when they see him in the movie, they're not going to think he's much, and then you get the twist, and it's going to be a fucking great twist for them. Yeah. So I'm really pleased with that. That was fantastic. You didn't spot the Zack Snyder Easter egg, did you?
No.
I didn't spot it either.
Oh, is that he played a soldier or something? No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I did have a look at it, and there's a picture of him online and everything, and it shows you the scene he's in, and fucking good on him.
Fair play.
Happy with that.
It's Hitchcock in it.
Well, pretty much Hitchcock in it. He's like, you know what? It's not my movie, but I'm going to be in it.
No, fair play. I never, like I say, I didn't even know that was a thing. So
the one thing that, and I think this probably will be a spoiler because I think everybody's looking to see stuff like this, is that this doesn't really, apart from the very start and the very end, this doesn't really tie in with any other DCEU movie.
Well, no, I mean, even the start and the end, you know, she gets the pitch from Bruce Wayne, but it doesn't mention or have any relevance to Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman or the Justice League, really.
And as I said to you, that surprised me because I really thought going into this movie it was going to be kind of integral to Justice League. I thought we were going to get, like, you know, when you had the story of the Amazonians, how they were created at the start, like we mentioned, and the mother's telling you. I thought there was going to be at least something in there that laid the seed for Darkseid or Brainiac, or I thought there was going to be something somewhere.
I don't know, maybe they just, you know, they didn't want to do that because it would then become connected to the wider universe. And I mean, on one hand, there's nothing wrong with that, but on the other hand, you know, there'd be people bloody screaming bloody murder because it's supposed to be Wonder Woman's story and it's good, and fucking like people would be saying, oh, well, why are you taking the focus away from her and putting it on Bruce Wayne and all that kind of thing. So I can see why they wouldn't. I can see
it. I'm glad they didn't. I just kind of thought we were going to get something.
Yeah, and there isn't any after credit scene that we saw.
And apparently there 100% isn't, because as you saw, I was absolutely in pain by the end of this movie. I needed to go to the toilet because we had beer beforehand, and beer makes me need to pee.
Fair enough.
So I had to run to the toilet and all that, and literally you sat there waiting for this end credit scene that may or may not appear, and while you were doing that, I was Googling it in the toilet to see if there was an end credit scene. I was just like, yeah, I'm not going back in there. I've already walked out. But yeah, there's no end credit scene, unfortunately, so no stinger to set up for.
That's okay, we don't need them to do that.
No, we don't.
You know, they don't. I mean, there was one in Suicide Squad, but fuck that movie. So,
well, to be fair, Suicide Squad is the only one that's had one.
Yeah.
BVS and Man of Steel, neither of them had one.
We don't need them to do that.
I suppose Man of Steel did, though. No, that was just like a mid-credits. You know, when satellite fell from the sky. and he told them.
That was the end of the movie. That
Was that the end of the
wasn't
movie?
a stinger.
All right, I thought it was a stinger. Cool. Yeah. I'm okay with that then. Yeah. So, Chris Pine.
Yeah.
We ain't going to be seeing him again.
Well, no, he dead.
Shit. Fuck.
Well, but it's 1918.
Yes.
And so the Wonder Woman 2, it's been confirmed Wonder Woman 2 is going to be set in present day.
Yes.
So they're doing what they did
with
Captain America, where they went to the war to set up the character and then to bring the character into the present day and the present universe. So you weren't going to see Chris Pine again anyway, unless they Peggy Cartered it and fuck that.
Fuck that. Yeah. What do you think? Again, you said you didn't read the Digital Spy article, but what do you think about the comments that they had Chris Pine in there to die so that he creates Wonder Woman? It's because of his heroism and his bold actions that she becomes Wonder Woman. What do you make of that?
Fucking nonsense,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this is a woman's movie. We're giving all the credit to Gal Gadot, Patty Jenkins. They're getting all this good credit. But Digital Spy thinks that if it wasn't for a man, Chris Pine, Gal Gadot doesn't become Wonder Woman.
Well, fuck Digital Spy.
Yeah. And to be fair, they did give this movie quite a good review. So why are they coming up with this bollocks?
To be fair, it's maybe not. It's just a writer at Digital Spy.
Yeah.
I don't know who the writer is because I didn't read it. So
yeah. Well, good on you, because it was nonsense and it should have been on Movie Pie.
No, that's some bullshit.
Which is a hack website. So yeah, there's not really much else I want to talk about with this movie. Is there anything you want to talk about?
No, I just, again, just to sort of reiterate, Gal Gadot, and, puts in an absolutely fantastic performance. There are moments later on during the battle with Lupin or Ares.
Yep.
The moment where she kind of loses her shit and she's going about beating the fuck out of all the soldiers, and there's all the flames in the background. That is amazing. And yeah, just the way that she defeats him eventually, that's fucking badass as well. So that comment about that character creating Wonder Woman, no, fuck off. Wonder Woman, she was Wonder Woman when she put on the fucking thing and she went over the top, and she was Wonder Woman. She was taking charge. She was doing her own thing. She was saying, no, I'm not going to be told to leave it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be told, like, you can't do this. I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, and she does.
So, fuck that article.
And again, like I say, when it comes to comic book movies, like you say, I would actually take it to the extreme and say any movie, that's the scene you've got to beat now. Like that's the scene that you've got to hit that level of intensity, of iconic, just fucking stature. You've got to hit it. And if you don't, I'm not that fussed with you. It's just simple as.
But I don't think you can sort of go into Justice League and your Infinity War or Spider-Man or bloody, I don't know, fucking Born 6 or whatever action movie and go, fuck you ain't Wonder Woman.
No,
you can be doing that.
I know what you're saying, yeah. Maybe
get what you mean, that it was an amazing action set piece. And as I said before, I've said to several different people, it was one of the best action set pieces I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can go into other movies comparing it to Wonder Woman.
Maybe I'm getting a bit extreme. I think when it comes to movies now, like these types of movies especially, I'm going to be looking for that. I'm going to be looking for that feeling of wanting to punch the fucking air, not just the guy sat next to me, and just being like, hoorah, and just being, just getting that feeling. And like, as I said in the car on the way back, I think the setting helps.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The time period, the fact that it's no man's land, and that shit did happen.
Yeah.
They're not just making that up for a comic book movie. That's just real, which is kind of why the whole movie works.
Well, yeah. But I don't know if you heard, but during that scene, where she's behind the shield and they're all shooting at her, I did let out an audible "get the fuck in there."
Yeah.
I couldn't help it.
Well, I didn't hear that because I was listening to the guy next to me going, "Oh, oh fuck you."
So, wait a minute. Is this you complaining about other cinema goers?
Nope, I'm not complaining about other cinema goers.
Are you sure?
They have every right to enjoy the movie, just not in my vicinity. I should have been on the other side of you so that I didn't hear him. I'm not complaining about him. He enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I just think I know that he enjoyed the movie a lot more than he knows that I enjoyed the movie. Is what I'm saying.
I will point something out. Out the corner of my eye, not next to me or just anywhere near me really, but just sort of down that way, down to the right of me, there was someone who kept checking his or her phone.
Twat.
Aye. And
see, now that I'll complain about.
Yeah. Like
that's bad cinema etiquette.
And it's like sitting behind someone and whispering throughout the entire fucking movie. Yeah. The entire fucking movie, mind. But I mean, I could block it out because it was, as I say, it was quite far away from me. It was on the other part of the aisle. But if I was sat next to that motherfucker, I'd have been saying, put your fucking phone away.
Like the guy who was next to me and his phone rang at one point.
Yes, I did hear that.
And I did literally sit there and think, answer that, and I'm breaking it. Because that is a it's not even a pet peeve. That's a major peeve. Like I say, cinema etiquette. Obey the rules.
Yeah.
Okay? It's cinema. Fuck off.
But, you know, people eating popcorn doesn't annoy me, thankfully.
No.
But
I do
that doesn't annoy
love
me.
Me some popcorn.
Fucking people fidgeting doesn't annoy me because I'm a fidgety fuck myself, as you know. Like, you know, people, like, even sort of people going, oh, it was fucking awesome. Because I've done that as well.
Because I do that all the time.
You know, like, in Rogue One with the bit with Darth Vader, I was making sex noises. There's fucking nothing wrong with that. I've got nothing against that. It's people just with bad behaviour in cinemas that has been getting on my tits lately.
I'm on your side. I just have less of those experiences because I'm an antisocial fuck. So when I go into a cinema, I'm in my bubble.
Well, yeah, no, I've been going to the cinema more, which cool, jobs are good. But you know, it seemed to have been happening quite a lot.
Yeah,
like we went to see Split, and there was two women sat behind us who were clearly thick fucks who needed to explain the plot to each other the entire way through the movie.
Yeah, you get that.
At the start of it, no, the entire fucking movie, Kev. At the start of it, it was funny, and I was sat, like, laughing to myself, because I kind of wanted to turn around and say, no, you thick fuck, it's this. But then, by the third act, when Shyamalan is trying to build up the tension, and you've got these people sat behind you, bloody, going, I think it might be that, I think it might be that, no, I think it might be that. Fuck off!
Do you not get that with Shyamalan Ding Dong movies though? That you do find yourself going, I think I know what's going on.
I wouldn't say it out loud in the but not the entire movie. And when we went to see The Great Wall, these fucking 5 or 6 little ball-bags who had snuck into the cinema, and they were laughing and giggling like little fucking bitches through the entire movie, and they clearly snuck in. They couldn't have been more than 11.
Okay.
And, you know, I didn't swear at them, because you can't be swearing at 11-year-olds.
You can, though.
Yeah.
In a cinema, I think there's rules you can.
It came close. It came very close.
Yeah. I think there's rules that you can in a cinema.
Well, I did turn round and say I didn't come here to listen to you fucking speak. I didn't say fucking.
And did they go, don't give me evils?
No, they kind of didn't know what to say, and then they shut up. They shut up for a good half hour, and then they started their pish again.
Yeah.
Oh, they went out like a bunch of women in a bar. They went out to the toilet and
Together.
then came back.
Sweet.
And then out and then back. And
they
then
might have been screen hopping to see if there was a better movie.
Maybe. But and then they started it again towards the end. I mean, as the movie is coming to the end, it's quite loud, and it's some decent action in it. So you couldn't really hear it, but then it kind of quietened down, and then you could hear it, and they were fucking laughing and joking, and I was so fucking close to letting out like an angry Joe, fuck! But, you can't do that.
So this has been the emergency episode in which we have talked about Wonder Woman and how much we love it, and Chris's cinema going experiences.
Yeah.
I might just cut that a little bit out and put that out as its own thing, like a little 5-minute random.
On for a little while, haven't I?
Yeah,
that'd be fine.
So yeah, this was Wonder Woman. We fully fucking love this movie. 365 recommend. Mm-hmm. You have got to go and see it. Just keep plowing money into this fucking beast because it's a great film. And, Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, both signed on for the next one, which is fan-fucking-tastic. We are looking at a good set of movies coming now.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking, we've got Joss's Batgirl on the way, and let's be honest, it's Joss. It's going to be great. Got no problems with that movie. We've got the Gotham City Sirens on the way. Cannot wait to see that movie. Have a theory about that movie.
Oh.
We're not going to it just now, though. We've got the Batman movie, which is on, off. Affleck's in it, Affleck's not in it. Directors left, creative difference. Let's just see what happens with that movie. I'd still have every faith in it coming out. I'm quite looking forward to see what Matt Reeves does with it, because I love the Planet of the Apes movies. So, And we've got everything else. We've got Aquaman, we've got Flash, we've got Cyborg.
Not sure about Cyborg, but I don't know anything about the character.
And Shazam.
So. Is that still coming out?
Yeah, I don't know if they've decided we're not making Shazam. We're just going to make the one with The Rock.
Black Adam.
Yeah, I think that might be an idea.
I thought Shazam had been cancelled and they were putting Black Adam in one of the Justice League movies.
I'd be fine. I'd be okay with that. The Rock's in it. I'm okay with that. I just want The Rock in a DC movie. Yeah. So, this has been that episode. It's her story, and it's good.
Yep.
So, people, come back to 365. Check the feed for more episodes. We've got an indie talk coming with a graphic novel creator that you're going to absolutely fucking love. We've got more coming up, and it's just the train just keeps rolling.
Rolling.
Is that a Limp Bizkit song?
A little bit.
Nah.
Ugh.
Undertaker's theme tune.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.